Alright, so the first game in temporary charge of Napsa Stars for Linus Makwaza was a death with Forest Rangers. That took us to the Nkoloma Stadium. Let's have a look at the two lineups that were selected by the two gaffers. That's Napsa Stars versus Forest Rangers. So here we go. Napsa Stars change in formation. Go and play 4-1-3-2 compared to a 4-2-3-1 for Forest Rangers in red. So, yeah, the Makwaza Ren starts off with a change in formation. Under the TC Ren, it was mainly 4-3-3. Did you expect this?
Well, honestly, I didn't, because I thought Coach Linus was the assistant to Tenant, so I thought maybe he would go with the same formation, but to my surprise, I saw a change in formation. Maybe because they were allowing too many goals, so maybe he thought he needed the on the defense, he needed some more people.
Okay. Anyway, let's have a look at Napsa Stars in attack. So they treated us to a 7-goal thriller. They managed to get 4. They were leading going into the halftime break. Let's assess the attack, shall we? Now, Coach Fatih, let's look at this one now. So Napsa Stars in orange. They bring back Collins Kombe to play that creative midfielder role. But because it's 4-4-2, then he has a shift to putting going up and down, getting square in defense, and getting ahead of Dixon Chapa when the team is attacking. But this, look at that trend. Forest Rangers become centrally compact, but because Austin Banda, the shirt number 10 in orange, would seemingly tuck inside, meaning he was closing himself out as an option. But because Chitoshi Mkuma was actually playing closer to the line, he made himself available. And that's why the space was. It was a cagey game, but there were pockets of space there which they seemingly could not use, because once they take it to Chitoshi, the Forest defense would actually change and lock that side again and try to float a hopeful ball into the 18.
The idea for Napsa, the idea is to use one of the wingers. That is the whole idea, is to attract Forest to the middle, then start using the wingers. Collins is very good as a mobile player. He can get the ball from the right, shift it to the left, and also around the box is very good because he's also first touch. If you give him the ball, he can shoot. His first touch is very good. So about the formation, I think if you they work as a bench with Tenant. So the idea of losing 6 games in a row, obviously you have to change. You have to come with something different. You try something different, maybe it can work, and it works with them. 4-3.
You remember Banda played as a number 10, almost as a number 9 in certain parts of the game.
Yeah, I think like the way, like what Coach Fata said. I think maybe Coach thought you lose 6 in a row, plus from 3 draws. Obviously, you have to change. So they tried. You remember Banda on top. I think it worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Let's have a look.
He took risk. This is why he concedes 3 goals, but it works with him.
Yeah.
Okay. Club risky business, but yes,
Yeah.
it has benefit. It has benefit. Let's look at the Forest Rangers attack. Let's look at Forest Rangers in attack, because even for perimeter men, they also came to the office trying to get the job done. But here's something about Perry's team on the day. They were actually basically playing out, but you need to credit them for something. That is actually forming lines of pass from the back. They would spread out, get the ball into the 2 defensive midfielders. That's Ilungo and Douglas Muwowo. But once they get to that area there, where Webster Mzaza is, the number 13 there, they would find that Napsa Stars were fairly well organized, and because of that, they were reduced to shooting from range, seemingly lacking penetration. But if you look at the players they have, you think, okay, Logic Chingandu should be getting past players. Shisha should be getting past players. Webster Mzaza, the second striker, should be able to continue with the trend. I mean, they get the ball from the defense line up to there, but seemingly losing some penetrative power in those areas of the pitch.
I think the strength for Forest, it's a counter attack, and they usually always plan to build up immediately the opponent come. They start playing long ball or deep pass on the right and the left, closing the counter on launching the counter on the opponent. So what Napsa did, they did very well this game. The defense line was holding a little bit. They're not rushing to push themselves around around the midfield. This is why they don't concede. The game, it was like 50-50, but they try by all means to stop the counter for Forest.
So, in interesting state of affairs, before you bring in that comment, I want us to look at the shot structure for Forest Rangers and basically just build on from where we were. So, the shot structure for Forest Rangers would basically define a situation where Forest Rangers would be shooting from those areas. Now, where the striped balls are, those are shots off target. Those where the conventional balls are, that's where the shots on target got landed. I'm just thinking now, could Perry be thinking, okay, how do I play now? They are not leaving space behind the defense. They are reducing us to shoot from range.
I think on this one, Napsa really planned, because it's a typical perimeter philosophy. They like to build up from defense to midfield, inviting the opponents to come and mark. But this time, I think Napsa was so solid at the back. They were so.
But don't forget Linus is from Ndola.
Yeah, and it's his former team.
So
he knows the philosophy of
like his hand.
Yeah.
So it was easy for him to beat his former club.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, so shooting from range
is also very sharp.
Penetrative power, but what would you attribute the loss of penetrative power? The play out, and once they find Napsa Stars, the fullbacks not moving that much, Fred Msinda and Boyd Mkandawira not moving up that much. How do you reconcile that?
No, that situation you need a talented player. He can dribble now more than one player, and if you don't have this player, you have to continue. You're changing now. Now you have to go for a changing position in the midfield, between the midfield and the strikers, and depend about how players are ready to do this job.
And it's true, you know, the way that Forest Rangers plays, they play as a team. They will build up, make passes and stuff. They don't have those players who can take on a defender, beat him, and then create maybe
The best
2v1.
The best option is you have a dribbler. If you have a dribbler, you unlock this defense.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like that they couldn't.
Okay, let's just talk about the attacking movement of Forest Rangers as a team, because we will go to great lengths to look at their movement in attack. Now, look at what they were trying to do in trying to unlock Napsa Stars. You had a situation where the top man, Kobech Peter, leading the line on his own. There was one thing that perhaps they were hoping to profit from, is that when Kobech Peter makes that run wide into the arrowed area, the shed number 20 there, you had Solomon Sakala who would actually follow him. He wouldn't mark, he would man mark the top man. But it brings a fundamental question that when he follows the striker into the zone that belongs to Alex Mwamba, Webster Mzaza is hoping to run into that space. Chisha, the number 71, is trying to run into that space. Give Zulu the right fullback is trying to come up and create thrust there. And of course, Muowo in midfield is actually trying to offer support, Fatih.
It's also like what I told you, it's risk because Solomon is very good marking man one-on-one, man-to-man. But if the center back he left his position to chase the player, obviously the defensive midfield they have to give a cover. So now this is not the problem for Solo. This is the problem for the defensive midfield.
No, but I'm just thinking right there, and probably, are you supposed to hand over? You say, okay, Kobec Peter is running into your zone, Alex, take over. So that I maintain shape. Because what if Webster Mzaza's run into the box actually succeed? Because you're being sucked in, all of you.
I think depending on where the ball is and where you are marking from, if it's on the edge of the box, obviously you don't hand over, you run with your man. But if it's up somewhere in the center circle, somewhere there, you can say, okay, he's coming.
This is communication.
Yeah, you just
this
communicate.
Is in the training. This is in the training. If the center back left his position, the defensive midfield must be covered. The rest of the chain, they must be balanced. The back right and back left, and the number 5, the position 5, the other center back, they must balance the chain. And also 6, you must balance.
Okay.
You must close that gap.
Okay.
Because if you leave the player, if me as I'm a defensive midfield and I leave the striker, okay, he will turn and come back to me. And if the dangers for any striker or any good midfielder when he's facing the goal.
Now, you are also thinking you've got Collins Comben there. He's got license to bomb forward and create tactical overloads high up the pitch. But right there begins to beg the question of recovery, the rate of recovery, the time it takes for him to get back square with Dixon Chap.
Yeah, that was the problem again, because I thought Collins is not able to recover that quickly. No wonder maybe Tenant unfortunately has been put on leave. He was playing him like he's coming from the right, then coming inside, and then you would have another midfielder who can run box to box.
Which is, you remember?
You remember, yeah, but this game, you remember, I think played something like number 10 or number 9 somewhere. He was much further up the field.
Okay, let's talk about the attacking prowess of Napsa Stars. Let's just have a look at Napsa Stars in terms of their shot structure in this game. And probably as we go on, they were getting goals and they were leaking goals, and they hadn't won in a long time. So probably a case of worry. Also shooting between the lines, but we're also trying to get into the penalty area to actually shoot.
Yeah, try to get the penalty. He tried to enter the box. If he score, he score. If he didn't score, maybe he can have a penalty. So that's the idea. He wants to win the game.
Yeah, I think
even if the player has been touched like this and fall down, maybe
Yes.
the referee will say,
The
"That's a
referee
penalty."
will smile on the
Like the red
situation.
card for Cletus.
I
It's a red card.
think the games that I've watched Napsa, most of the games that I've watched them, they want to go in the box. They are a team that doesn't really like shooting. I think the only player that I've seen shooting from afar is
You remember.
yeah. He likes shooting from outside the box. But most of these other guys, they want the ball to go wide, they make a cross and then they finish.
Okay, let's just look at a player that had, well, a good day at the office. Unfortunately, he was on the losing side. His name is Ben Charlie, of course, under 20 international. He was very busy at the office on Saturday, of course, having to deal with you remember Bandit. Let's have a look at his touch map. There you go. Now, for a central defender who works that hard, and they could have been targeting him deliberately because Austin Banda was operating from the right, but he could snuff out opportunities for the opponent. And look at the coverage of his touch map and his interceptions Coach Fati, it comes back to that issue is that if you chase, you should win that duel. And
Yeah.
Ben Charlie was doing that
Yeah,
successfully.
This is the right thing. He was doing the right job. Chase the player, win the ball, then transition. This is why player like this make the team win. Because immediately you win the ball, you play transition. And now the team will play extension ball and they will build the counter and they score goals.
Yeah, but now let me bring in Dennis. Just you looked at that touch map for Charlie. Let's look at the overall interceptions for Forest Rangers in this game. And it will tell us a story about how important and how busy he was. Let's just have a look at the interceptions that Forest Rangers made. Not too many more activity.
Yeah, not
He
too
was the
many-
busiest.
Not too
in
many,
the
but
defensive sense.
this young boy, I think he will go far if he continues like this. I watched him, very good, very strong, and he's young. He still have a lot of energy. He continues like this, he'll be very good because he was always running with the number 9. Because with him, he was winning the balls. All the time he would intercept, win the ball.
Okay.
Start the build up as well.
Now, question. You play with two defensive midfielders. They are getting breached. And the interceptions have to be done by your central defender. How much comfort do you have if you are Perimtap and Masao Sotembo? So, okay, it's okay. Eventually had a great game. But what were the two defensive midfielders doing? How were they getting to that point?
Yeah, we see. I'll tell you the two defensive midfielder. This is why the goodness in two defensive midfielder. If it's wakes, they're supposed to block the attack for the opponent from the midfield. But one deep pass, it beat the two defensive midfielder, and now the problem shift to the center. So the two defensive midfielder, what they're gonna do? Nothing. They have now to run behind the player. And now the one is supposed to do the job now is the center back. So that is the issue. For me, the two defensive midfielders, sometimes it works, but most of the time doesn't work, because if there is good attacking midfield, or there is good one pass, it can beat the two players. So the best way is they play in front of each other, one attacking midfield, one defensive midfield. So
what
like
about
this-
what
like
about the
this-
spacing between them? Because what you're explaining is the Napsa Stars situation. One in front, one behind.
Yeah.
Rate of recovery and the space between them.
They will make the angle chain, so it's easy. It's more secure.
Okay.
It's less risk, because always one in the center. Because two defensive midfield, one will try to build to cover this side, one will try to cover this side. Even if the ball this side, one in the center, one going. Okay, but what about if the opponent attacking me and they play deep pass?
He actually changed. Perimtap actually changed his tactics. He brought on now and got removed Patrick Ilungo from that game. He was basically responding that maybe he was giving Napsa Stars too much respect in the circumstance.
Yeah, I think the way I saw, maybe Coach Perry maybe had the tactic, maybe just to come and get maybe a draw or something, because when you go to Forest, they don't play like that. They will attack you. Most of the times they play with one holding midfield and the other one is attacking. Most of the times it's John Chingan who is in front of the Congolese
Logic, not
Logic Chingandu, yeah. Okay, sorry. Logic Chingandu is in front, and then there's this Congolese guy.
Patrick Ilungo.
Yeah, very good. Very good. But this game I was surprised. Patrick was there with another
Douglas,
Douglas
Moore.
something, and then Logic was coming from the from the flanks, I think, from the wings.
All right, let's have a look at the match statistics. So 7-goal thriller, that's on Napsa Stars getting back to winning ways in a very long time. Let's just have a look at this one, Coach Fatty. So 6 shots off target for Napsa compared to 7 for Forest. And shots on target, you had 6 for Forest Rangers compared to 8 for Napsa Stars. 12 crosses compared to 3 for Forest Rangers. Then corners 3-4. Even Stevens. But from a Napsa Stars perspective, they struggled to get wins and they've changed their formation. Yes, it was risky, but they won. They got in more crosses, but most of the crosses didn't land in any case.
Yeah, but look, 12 crosses. This is what I'm telling you. The idea is to bring Forest to the center, like this evacuate the lines, like this he played across. This is why Collins, he helped in this issue. Because Collins is a technical player. He good technique and he also tactical player. So he can hold the ball. So when the opponent come, make transition. Then after this he go on the edge of the 18 area. Even he go inside the box and his first touch is very good.
Yeah, and
so
he can shoot too.
Yeah.
He can shoot.
I think
they build all the story on Collins.
I think the way that Forest plays, they like playing in the midfield. So what Napsa worked on was, let's put the ball in the
wide. Okay. Well, job well done, Harry Milanzi and Linus Makwaza getting maximum points there in that game at the Nkoloma Stadium. It's time for us to take 5. We'll continue with Soccer Chat Matchpack. Your views and contributions are most welcome after the break.